bitch, I'm flowing straight from the survival scroll.
One day I was chilling on the beacon block. Tall can in my hands, hit the spot. Got my Jordans on my blue jean, gas and black hoodie. I heard a horn beep, looked up, it was Scooty. Zanita was chilling in the passenger seat. She hopped off the ride, chicken head in the street. Zanita looking fresh and there wasn't no game. She had on the Prada with the Prada bracelets. Now here come Capone, starting up from behind.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mack Lessons Radio. And this is your host, Tariq Nasheed. And we're broadcasting live from Los Angeles, and we're going to chop up some real good game today. On today's show, we're going to talk about black women and snitching. Very controversial subject matter. One of those deep shows we're going to have today. We're going to talk about black women and snitching, my views on that. I got a lot of strong opinions about that. And today's show is brought to you by UnitedPlayersOfAmerica.com, the message board where players such as yourself can get together and chop it up with other players around the world. And today's show is brought to you by MackLessons.com, where you can get the informative and educational and entertaining DVD, Mack Lessons. You got to get that DVD. So like I said, today's show we're going to talk about black women and snitching. And the reason I want to talk about that today is because what sparked this, I saw some footage of an interview by a woman named Carmen Bryan. Now Carmen Bryan, she is the mother of rapper Nas's child. And she's another one of these females who's coming out with a quote-unquote tell-all book about all the guys she done slept with. And I kind of have a problem with that, as do a lot of other people. I guess because of the success of Kareen Steffen's book, that Superhead, the female groupie who came out with the book a couple of years ago talking about all the rappers and athletes and all these people she slept with. Now that's like becoming the thing to do. Lay up with cats and then snitch on them. So this is kind of getting out of hand. And I want to touch on that. And as usual, I'm flowing straight from the survival scrolls. So what's with all this snitching with sisters? On another show, I talked about how a lot of black women, there's a collective lack of respect that a lot of black women have for black men. I also talked about how white men and black women have a very peculiar relationship with one another in this country. I talked about the subconscious loyalty that a lot of black women have to white men in this country. Certain psychologists, they've talked about it as well. They kind of refer to it as the Stockholm Syndrome, where people who have been held in bondage or people who have been held hostage or enslaved by another group of people, they form some kind of a bond or an affinity for their captives. So the psychological term, the technical term, is the Stockholm Syndrome. I think that's the name of it. I may be paraphrasing, but I think that's the name of it. But this is real strong in the black community. And the snitching has to stop. A lot of people are coming out with the Stop Snitching t-shirts, and a lot of people are torn on the fence about the whole snitching thing. And I'm kind of torn on the fence about it. I have my views about it. Snitching on people, especially in the black community, it really never helped the black community. Snitching has been our downfall. Now, let me say this. If you see somebody being harmed in the community, and if you think that bringing in law enforcement will benefit the community or benefit the current situation, if somebody's life is on the line, by all means, you get all the help you can get, because some of these niggas in the streets, they're not living by any kind of creed. So why go by their rules? So the stop snitching thing is really a creed amongst hustlers. That's really a hustler thing, that you really don't snitch on one another, because if everybody's doing dirt, you don't snitch on this cat to save your own ass. That's just not admirable. But as far as black women snitching, it's usually on black men. When black women snitch, generally, and am I making a generalization? Of course. I don't want no emails saying that I was dissing all sisters or whatever. I'm making a sweeping generalization because I'm talking to a general audience. But generally, sisters don't snitch on white dudes too much, if you looked at the pattern of history. But there's been a lot of snitching going on in the black community, as far as black women snitching on brothers, ever since slavery. See, there was never a successful slave revolt in this country. And the reason why is because a lot of black women and a few house nigger men would always foil the revolt by snitching. But generally, it was a lot of sisters doing that. Because during slavery, a lot of sisters had to make a choice. Whenever a revolt was being planned, these sisters had to think, well, damn, should I go out here and join the revolt and possibly get killed because these niggas don't know where they're going? Or should I stay here in this house with Massa? At least I'm being clothed, at least I'm being fed. Massa gets to fuck me every now and then, which ain't too bad. So I think I just might tell on these niggas. And that's basically how a lot of the dynamics would play out. It was some deep shit going on back there. You know, you had a few of those Sally Hemings type of sisters out there who really didn't have it too bad. Slavery was fucked up and all. By no means am I trying to minimize the devastation of it, but in a lot of cases, for a lot of black women, they gained an affinity for the captives. They gained an affinity for Massa. They gained an underlying respect for him. Now, check into that relationship between Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. If guys don't understand that reference, I threw a little reference out there for my historian buffs. My history buffs out there, my historians. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Look up Sally Hemings and Thomas Jefferson. You feel what I'm talking about? A lot of sisters had an underlying respect for Massa. And that goes back to that Willie Lynch letter I talked about, how a lot of black women were trained to disrespect black men and show complete loyalty to white men. And this has been going on throughout black history in America. Black women have a very peculiar relationship with white guys. And the lack of respect in our community comes into play because a lot of black women feel that they have the upper hand over black men because black women have white men to back them up. It's like when two kids are in the park fighting, and the kid who has a big brother who's a bully, they usually talk the most shit because they know they have real good backup. But that's how a lot of black women are in relationships with black men. So when a black man tries to show the upper hand at home, what do sisters do? Threaten to call the police on him. Threaten to bring the white man in. And I know that all black relationships aren't like this, but this is far too common in our community, and this creates a problem. So a lot of sisters know that they have that backup plan, and they throw that in brothers' faces, and they know that brothers have to bow down to that. Major lack of respect. And also, and I said this on another show, whenever the white male power structure is trying to destroy a particular black man, they always use sisters to do that. they always use sisters to infiltrate that. When they tried to get Clarence Thomas, they used a black woman. They used Anita Hill. For those who remember that back in the early 90s. Another case in the early 90s when they were attacking hip-hop back in the late 80s, early 90s, when they were having all these congressional hearings against rappers and talking about freedom of speech. The two people who were in the forefront of destroying the hip-hop community was a white guy named William Bennett and a black woman named C. Dolores Tucker. And what's funny, I think he was a Republican and that bitch was a Democrat. I think, if I can remember right. So they got her to do it because they knew it would seem real fucked up if just a white man was trying to attack hip hop, so they had to get a sister to do it. And they got Dionne Warwick in the mix too, with her pickle nose ass. Deep stuff. Whenever they try to get brothers, man, they sneak the sisters in there. Not in all cases, but in many cases. A lot of folks don't know this, that Dr. Martin Luther King, there was another attempt on his life before he was actually killed. A lot of people don't even know this, and I'm surprised, but Dr. Martin Luther King was stabbed by a black woman. Did you guys know that? Look that up. Black female stabbed Dr. King. Tried to kill him. Look it up, folks. Know your history. Now, to play the devil's advocate, to play the other side of the fence, there are sisters far in between who didn't fall for that. There were some thorough sisters in the history books who stood up against that bullshit. They're like, we're not going to disrespect brothers. We're going to ride out with them. And those are the sisters that have stood out throughout history, like Harriet Tubman. She could have played the Sally Hemings role, but shit, she was a soldier about her shit. She stood by the brothers. That's why she's known throughout the realms of history. She's respected throughout the realm of history. You have the women like Angela Davis, black activist from the 70s, from the Black Panther movement. She held it down. And women in today's era, like Maxine Waters, black woman, Congresswoman Maxine Waters is no joke. Maxine Waters is right there on the front line. I have a lot of respect for Maxine Waters. A lot of women like Frances Cress Welsing, and I talked about her the other day on the show. She wrote a book called The ISIS Papers. She's riding. She's a rider. But unfortunately, for every Maxine Waters, for every Harriet Tubman we have 1,000 Corrine Steffens and Carmen Bryants. Little punk ass dry snitching bitches. And we got to start calling them out, man. We got to call that nonsense out. So I'm checking out this woman, Carmen Bryant. She was the mother of Nas's child. She is the mother of Nas's child. And she's coming out with a book talking about all the quote-unquote love affairs that she's had with different black men and different athletes. And there was an interview floating around the internet, and if you guys can Google it, you might see it too. I don't know where it is now. I know some of the stuff was on YouTube. They might have taken some of it down. But I think it's a real punk-ass move to lay up with folks and then dry snitch about your personal affairs with somebody. That's a very punk-ass move. It shows a lack of character, and you should be ostracized. Like Corrine Steffens, Superhead, I mean, when she was doing New York radio, I know she was getting clowned by everybody because nobody likes a snitch. And Corrine Steffens was going around talking about all these black men she messed around with. And what's funny about Corrine Steffens, when she was in an affair with Bill Maher, she wouldn't say shit negative about him. As a matter of fact, when it came to Bill Maher, and this, I'm quoting what this woman said. She said Bill Maher was the only man that she ever respected. She said she loved a lot of the other men in her life and all the men she was talking about in the book, but Bill Maher was the first man that she respected. And isn't this what I talk about, fellas? I talk about how a lot of black women, they love black men, but they really don't respect them. Love and respect are two different things. That's the way a lot of sisters feel about black men. They'll love you, but they really don't respect you. And I tell men all the time that respect is big. Love don't mean shit at the end of the day. What's love got to do with it, as Tina Turner said? It's all about respect, because if you don't have respect, you don't have nothing. Love is fickle at times. Love can come and go like the wind, but respect will stand its ground. But anyway, Kareen Steffens talked about all these guys that she slept with and all these rappers that she slept with. I think with her whole deal, because a lot of that shit was out of anger. To even put a book like that out, it's like out of vindictiveness. My thing with her, I think she was trying to have a baby by one of these dudes and it just didn't work. So in order to get something out of the deal, she's like, well, let me just tell on all these niggas. Because I think she was trying to do the good old-fashioned pregnancy hustle. There's a whole subculture of women in the black community that will try to sleep with rappers, athletes, all these people in order to get knocked up, so they can just live off the child support. It's a very common black bitch hustle. And I say black women because white women don't hustle like that. In generally white women, they put more equity into the game. White women aren't trying to get no damn child support check. A white woman is trying to get all the shit. White women know how to be patient with their hustle. They'll get up in there and get the whole business. They'll do one of those Anna Nicole moves. They're trying to get that $88 million. They're not trying to get a couple of $1,000s a month. That's low budget hustling to a white woman. But I digress on that. But I think that's what Kareem was doing. That's what I think. Because you don't just lay up with all those people talking about you love Ray J, you love DMX, you love Ja Rule. You don't do all that for absolutely nothing. There has to be a rhyme and reason to what you're doing. So I think that she was trying to get knocked up and it didn't jump off. And at the end of the day, she slept with all these people and didn't have no money and got mad about it. Now with this other chick, Carmen Bryan, she's just, I think she's just a common attention whore. She saw that Kareen got all this publicity from her book. Carmen is one of these wannabe celebrities, because a lot of these females who have babies or try to get knocked up by athletes and rappers, or women who are generally groupies. Groupies are women who want to be celebrities themselves, but they really have no talent or no way to get there. So the next best thing is to fuck somebody with talent. So they just really want attention. These are basic attention whores. Now this Carmen Bryan chick, talking about she had an affair with Jay-Z and Allen Iverson, and I think she said Puffy, I think. And what's so funny is that a lot of these women are very disillusioned in the way they describe these trysts. I was looking at the footage of Carmen Bryan's interview, and she was trying to make it sound all romantic, like, oh, I saw Jay-Z from across the room and our eyes touched glances, and bitch, this nigga saw you as some easy pussy, took you somewhere and fuck you. Y'all women cut that shit out. All you attention whores and groupies, tone this shit down. Nobody's believing all that extra shit you're putting on it. I mean, these brothers are coming out with these books and getting on message boards, snitching and lying and putting extras on it to try to justify you being a stank bitch. We had countless whispers from across the room. Get the fuck out of here. You're a toss-up. You're a cesspool for semen. You're something that a nigga can drop his semen off into. Stop putting extra shit on it. I mean, this chick was talking about, Carmen Bryant talking about, my book is about many love affairs. It wasn't a love affair. A nigga calling you up getting some easy pussy is not a love affair, ladies. You are a toss-up. You are a jump off. Don't create this little bullshit scenario in your mind. And with this Carmen chick, this is another thing that killed me. She's bragging, talking about, well, you know, Nas and Jay-Z, you know, their whole beef was because of me. Bragging about this shit. I started a hip-hop war. Get the fuck out of here. And a lot of people criticize Nas for signing with Def Jam. They criticize Nas for becoming cool with Jay-Z. They were saying shit like, well, how could Nas be down with somebody who fucked his baby mom? You know what? That's player shit. See, that's how a lot of you square niggas think. You square niggas don't understand the game. Jay-Z and Nas are supposed to be cool. You're not supposed to be up here beefing over no gut bucket, raggedy ass, groupie hood rat bitch who's sitting up here bragging that you niggas are fighting one another. I talked about that on another show. Niggas are supposed to be cool with one another. That's player shit. You don't have no beef over no nigga because of no bitch. You don't get into that he say, she say shit. If there's a problem, what players do, you pull the dude to the side and say, look, homie, you know, not coming at you out of pocket, but what's going on? You know, what's the deal? And you sit down and you chop it up like men on some real shit. Again, that's how the old school players used to do it. And that's one of them old pimp rules. One of the old pimp rules from the old unwritten book of pimping. If two pimps are campaigning against the same female, or if a female is with one pimp and she chooses another pimp, the first pimp is supposed to serve him. He's supposed to get served. He's supposed to call him up and be like, hey, what's up, player? You know, your bitch chose me, and I'm just calling you up to let you know so there won't be any kind of confusion. You know, everything is cool. If I need to come get the bitch's clothes, you know, I'll give you a holler. But your bitch chose, so don't go looking for her. I got her. She's with pimping. And, you know, I'll holler at you in a minute. That was some real player shit. That's how players do it to this day. Real true to the game PIs. The reason why they do that is to alleviate any kind of confusion, because they know that women will play two niggas against each other and cause a big ruckus. So as men, you keep all that feminine bullshit out the fray. Let's chop it up like dudes. So Jay-Z and Nas were absolutely correct in coming together, bonding on some shit. Instead of letting a groupie pit them against each other, and these niggas are fighting, and she's off with the next athlete or rapper being a stank, pitting the next two niggas against each other, and then snitching. You feel me, fellas? So always keep it player. And I said that in my book, The Mack Within. Don't fight other players over no bitch. Don't let a bitch pit you against another dude. Talk to this nigga. Now I know there's some niggas who just don't have no player genes in their DNA system. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you reach out that olive branch. If you can't talk to the nigga, fuck him. And then fuck the bitch. It ain't worth it. Just charge both of them to the game if you can't really chop it up with this nigga. But don't let it get into some old other shit because of the broad. And sisters, Stop the goddamn snitching. That shit is corny, it's low budget, it's low character. And again, I know how it is in this country. You know, there are repercussions against sisters who don't snitch on brothers. You know, that's almost a given. They want you to snitch on brothers. That's supposed to be your job. Look at what they did to Little Kim for not snitching on brothers. But Little Kim is going to go down in history as that bitch, though. She's admirable and worthy of respect. Few sisters are like that. So that snitching is a sucker ass move. Like I said, that bond that a lot of sisters have for white guys, that shit is deep. You guys remember a couple of years ago when they had this guy, Strom Thurmond? He was politician, racist ass politician. Old cracker. Old racist politician. Strom Thurmond was like big time segregationalist. Big time. Clearly didn't like niggas. Strom Thurmond was no joke. And they found out that Strom Thurmond had like a black child from like one of his maids. He had like a black daughter, and the daughter was like, I want to say like 58, 68 years old, and they kept that shit a secret until his death. He was racist, but he wasn't that racist. He wasn't racist enough to turn down some black pussy. But the thing is, the interesting part about that story is that the family, you know, the black mistress and the black daughter, they kept it a secret themselves. The black family kept it a secret because, and this is what they said, they didn't want to embarrass him. So they waited until he died before they came out with the story saying, okay, yes, Strom Thurmond, he's my dad, and you know, he's kind of been taking care of me over the year. They waited until he died because they didn't want to embarrass this racist son of a bitch. When I say racist, I mean this motherfucker tried to create laws to just fuck niggas over. I mean, this motherfucker had power to fuck niggas' lives up. He was very instrumental in a lot of bullshit. So these people had this underlying respect. These black women had this respect for this known racist. And they didn't want to embarrass him. Because he had a black child out of wedlock by his black mistress. But we saw Jesse Jackson when he had that child out of wedlock. Shit. The baby wasn't even 2 years old yet before the baby mama started snitching. That baby was still in diapers and the baby mama snitching her ass off. Telling everything. That baby wasn't even looking at Barney tapes yet. That motherfucker snitching. And this bitch is 68 years old with racist ass Strom Thurmond and ain't saying nothing for 68 years. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of that little bullshit goes on, and it needs to be checked. Not admirable. We got to step it up, sister. Stop the goddamn snitching. Stop it. Stop fucking niggas and writing books about it. That shit is corny. I'm telling you, we're having a black man revolution. And not just a black man revolution, it's a male revolution. And there's a lot of shit that we ain't going for no more. A lot of shit is going to be stopped. The bullshit has stopped now. We're stopping all that. We're calling all the bullshit out. As I flow straight from the survival scrolls. Anyway, that's been today's lessons. I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to check out myspace.com/Tariq_Nasheed. And check out MackLessons.com to get the DVD. You guys have a good day. Holla at y'all. Peace.